confusion doesn't make any sense in 2025 when it comes to why we are not who we'd like to be. And I think a major reason for this, what I see from everybody, what everybody is guilty of, nobody wants to admit their part. It's everybody else's fault. Nobody wants to admit that I'm a part of the problem. And that's a major problem. And people think so simply as well. People think if I say I'm part of the problem, then that means that the other people are winning. I find, I'll speak for myself, when I admit that I'm a part of the problem, what that does for me, it anchors me more to the present moment. What it does for me is it holds my behavior and my actions and my choices to a higher standard when I tell myself I'm a part of the problem. It's accountability is what I've noticed when I say I'm part of the problem. Because there has to be a simultaneity always of, don't forget, there's many truths can exist at the same time. You can be weak, but you could be seeking strength. You could be a fool, but you could be seeking wisdom. And it could be happening simultaneously. That is really the essence of what it means to even be a Christian. There's an awareness and a mindfulness intrinsically at my default. I am a sinner. I am in this sinful shell. However, aspirationally, I'm seeking constantly to be closer to God. And what does it mean to be closer to God? What it means to be closer to God is to love your neighbor as yourself, to love God with your heart, mind, body, and soul. And this goes to this other aspect that I would like to just preach about right now. The gentleman Cornel West, again, if I mention somebody, please calm down with whatever criticisms you have of the person, because what I've noticed, if I say something like, I like Cornel West, right? A person then presumes that what I've noticed what people do when somebody likes somebody else, they then presume that that person's their hero. They worship. I don't worship any man, and I don't understand how anybody worships any man. If I ever admire a person, I'm admiring certain qualities of their humanity and certain qualities of their efforts, but I'm never surprised by their flaws. I'm never surprised by them not being perfect. I'm never surprised by them being a fool in some kind of regard. Because I don't put them on such high of a pedestal to where I need them to be my damn hero. My heroes are my hero is my effort. That's my hero. My hero is my intentionality, my deliberate actions that lend themselves to my betterment, to my optimization, to my enlightenment, to my evolution, to my growth. That's my hero. My hero is all that which cannot be seen. But Cornel West says he speaks the truth, love, and justice often. And years ago, I'd watched so many of his interviews, and he had such a fantastic conversational style, which I wouldn't even call a style. To me, it's just similar to what I would do. It's just an authentic approach to where his interest is clearly not to just browbeat somebody and make them feel lesser or to rack up points on the scoreboard. Whatever Cornel West flaws, he speaks to truth, love, and justice. He speaks to the importance of acknowledging race. He speaks to the importance of acknowledging those who are downtrodden, those who are subjugated and are not recognized by the whole of society. But the bottom line is he believes in truth, love, and justice, right? So my point is, however imperfectly that might manifest, my point is this. Right now, there's still discussions. We still want to focus on race. We still want to focus on gender. I'm telling you right now that all that really matters and all that has to matter is truth, love, and justice for each and every human being. There has to be more of a discussion about how we are all individuals and how we are all very much so decentralized. I very seldom see a village anymore. I very seldom see a real community anymore. And look, fine, but the point is, in America, I mean, the point that still doesn't, the fact that we don't see that means that more than ever, we should be focusing on truth, love, and justice. We should be focusing on human connection, human harmony. We should be focused on the fact that we are human beings. And that sounds like such BS. Everybody's so cynical and pessimistic now, man. But your mind is not even free to where I would argue that your pessimism and your cynicism is not even your own for so many people. I'd argue that so much of your pessimism and your cynicism, it stems from your mind being so polluted to where what your mind is really telling you is, I need to withdraw from all of this. Think about the fact that we're not mindfully actively seeking the things that we often are introducing our brains to. The information that our brains are introduced to, the internet is deciding it for us. Social media is deciding it for you. And that made me mad when I thought about that. When I thought about the fact that, like, I'm not choosing to look at this stuff really. The interface created by these engineers is choosing it for me, and then I'm developing all these thoughts and feelings about it. But this is not something that I'm consciously choosing and seeking out to really think about. I'm not saying, let me watch this video where all this drama is happening. It's just there, and I click it mindlessly, and then I have an opinion on it, and then I internalize whatever's going on in it, and then it's affecting me. But I didn't choose it. We have more bandwidth than we think we have, where we think we can give our mind to the gods of the internet. Let them decide what they want to do with it. And then to still be free thinkers, the free thinkers we supposedly are. We're not free thinkers. Our minds are absolutely hijacked. That's why reasonability, we don't have the energy to be reasonable and sensible. One of the reasons why we're so quick to be dismissive, one of the reasons why we're so quick to be impatient, we don't have the energy to be otherwise. I see how everybody lives. Even the sweetest, nicest people live in a chaotic way, from what I've noticed. Even the sweetest, nicest people that aren't harming about, they still have chaos in their life that lends itself to them having moments of toxicity and chaos to which they aren't even aware. But they would like to be free from it if they could see it. But how can you see it when you're allowing all this fog to be placed in front of you? We're overeating, mentally speaking, man. We're overeating. And then we wonder why our mental competency is compromised. Or then, to be real, I don't even know if we're wondering that. Are we wondering anything? Or has everybody decided for us what we're going to wonder about? The truth is, right now is all that there is. Not that the past isn't important. The past informs the present. The past is extremely important. The past, there's nothing but lessons. The past indicate patterns of behavior. The past is highly informative. Nonetheless, all there is the here and now. The future is extremely important. We need a plan for the future. Again, recognizing certain patterns, recognizing all kind of different variables. The future has to be considered. The future has to be addressed. The future has to be planned for. Nonetheless, all that exists is right here and now. I believe that we're constantly in this tug of war with messing around with the past, the present, and the future, to where they all just sort of mesh into just one big blob, and we're just beings of chaos. That, in addition to that, all kind of useless, unhelpful information that doesn't make us any wiser, it doesn't make us any sharper, it doesn't make us any more useful to the people around us. It doesn't make us any more loving. It doesn't make us any more harmonious. Nothing. And yet we subject ourselves to it because we're exhausted. We're tired. We're on autopilot. And also in the name of this thing that is called a life, and you let them, my beef with the average person, it's hard for me to get mad at the people at the top. I said this in another video once, where I realized I can't be mad at the rapper that's talking, that's like saying Percocet, Percocet, kill, kill, kill. I can't so much be mad at that rapper when I really think about it, because they're not forcing anybody to listen to them. They're not forcing anybody to come to their concerts. They're not forcing anybody to be fans of them. It's the people. It's the people, man. The people are voting for all this ugliness and badness. All the toxicity you see, it's being voted for. All of it. Every single drop of nonsense you see. Because you know what? We have so much power to shift the zeitgeist. But we're just selective and arbitrary with our choices. We choose when we feel like it. And currently, well, what you're seeing with all the political chaos, I believe that if it continues down a negative trajectory and a negative momentum, unfortunately, this is an inconvenient truth that I hate to admit. Average person needs trauma. The average person has to put their hand on the stove to realize that they're making bad decisions. And that's something that has scared me. I've always been frightened of being that kind of person who I have to hit rock bottom. And by the way, I've had like 2 rock bottoms. And then after my second rock bottom, I've been utterly frightened. Since I was 25, I've been so scared of allowing myself to hit a rock bottom again to see clearly. That's why I so religiously engage in the activities I engage in the mental approach I do, and the value system I have. I am not going to hit rock bottom again to have to take my head out of my ass. But unfortunately, because what I'm saying right now is not a norm, because what I'm saying right now is not a common discussion, the average person needs to feel the pain in order to change. And even then, there's no guarantee that a change will occur. It only increases the likelihood that a change will occur. But I would argue, let's not wait until that tragic pain occurs. How about we change now? What can we change? What we could change is the overall collective daily discourse. We could talk about topics that are much healthier and much more wholesome to the human spirit, the human soul. When you indulge drama and toxicity, don't be surprised by the fact that that's all that exists in your life. When you have no interest in being a reasonable, sensible human who seeks health, capital H health, sleep, nourishment, physical activity, vulnerable, healthy conversations where there's meaningful, there's non-judgmental, where there's reciprocity. When you like to be around people just to be around people, and then you let your mind play this fictional, imaginative game where you think that you're living life just because there's people there, you think you're living life just because your feet are in a different geographical area, I don't know how you can complain. I don't know how you can be surprised. My gripe and my rant is that less is more. Please consider that less is more. Please consider that. Please consider that if you wake up in the morning and and the first thing you do is grab a book, that is a beautiful thing. And after you grab that book, and if you say fall asleep again, that is a beautiful thing, because that is a testament to how fatigued you actually are. What I'm saying is your mind is overworking itself, and it's overworking itself in a way that's not helpful to you or to anybody else. It's the same thing as overeating through our mouths. We are overeating through our eyes and our ears, and we wonder why we're so psychologically, cognitively overweight. I digress.